Hey everyone, welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamash, and what we have this time is the Sakoda Aogami Super Gyuto 180mm knife. So as the name suggests, this knife has a core steel of Aogami blue paper, super reactive high carbon steel. Heat treat on that core steel is around 63 Rockwell, give or take a little. The construction is multi-layered in that you've got a 3-layer composition with soft stainless cladding on either side of that hard core steel. It's a little hard to show you because the knife has a fair amount of polish to it, but you can see the cladding. Maybe I don't cut myself. There's a cladding right there. You can kind of see that line right there. We'll get another shot of it. But so in terms of maintenance, you've got steel, or should say stainless steel over the outside, including the spine, and then you've got the exposed reactive steel at the edge, so that should make maintenance a little bit easier. Aogami Super is a very nice kitchen knife steel. It holds a nice edge and is reasonably easy to sharpen. Actually, with decent stones, it's pretty darn easy to sharpen, but it will hold a nice edge, so it's got good edge retention. Weight and dimensions can vary on these a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 140 grams or 5.0 ounces, fairly light. The handle is an octagonal, ambidextrous rosewood handle with a black packawood ferrule on it. Nice fit and finish on the handle. They do, when they put the tang into the handle, still have the drilled out hole there, not filled, as well as the top. There's a gap there as well, so I would recommend sealing that with something like beeswax, or if you like to use a little silicone in there, whatever kind of sealant you want to do. Probably a good idea to seal it up to keep moisture from getting in there. The edge length on this is right about the advertised 180 millimeters or 7.1 ounces, and the overall length is 323 millimeters or about 12.7 inches. These have a little thickness coming out of the handle, but then they thin out pretty nicely. So it's definitely a performance grind on these blades. Got about 3.1 millimeters thick above the back of the blade, and then about 2.5 halfway down the blade, and it pretty much holds that until you get to this grind that thins out towards the edge. There's not like a defined line here so much. You can kind of see that, but these are ground very thin at the tip, so it's a real skinny tip right there, and then they're also ground quite thin at the edge. The performance on these should be stellar, so these will fly through product nicely. Let's see, height is about 46.1 millimeters at the back, so plenty of clearance for your fingers. You've got a nice gentle curve here from the choil, the back of the blade, into the neck, and there's a pretty good gap there, so you've got a nice spot for your finger for a pinch grip. In terms of balance point, this handle's a little bit heavier than some, so the balance point's right about there. Pinch grip, I'm a little in front, or I guess in front of the balance point, but it's still pretty neutral feeling, so you have a nice, nimble, lightweight knife. Let's take a look and get our beauty shot here. This knife has a fair amount of polish to it, so let's see what we can do without it getting too weird. So what they've done is they've done some laser engraved kanji on the right side of the blade. You can see the finish marks are vertical. Here it's a little tough to see, but there's your cladding line, there's your core steel right there. Cool thing is, once you start using this, you'll get a patina built up on that core steel, and you'll get a nice contrast between the stainless steel cladding and the reactive steel core. So here's the left side of the blade. Fit and finish is nicely done on these. Very good fit and finish. They've got some finish work on the spine. They've got a nice polish and finish work on the choil, so it's very comfortable. Out of the box edge on this, they kind of advertise them as having nice out of the box edges. This particular one was not very sharp right in the middle. The rest of it was pretty sharp. I did some stropping on it, and it came to life pretty quickly, so they just had a little bit of a burr, I think, on there. So anyway, did some stropping, and like I said, it came up pretty quick. So the other knife I've got, the 210 Gyuto model, was really razor sharp, so just an anomaly probably. If you look on the site, you'll see that they talk about how these are made, and a lot of the work is done by hand. So it's a real nice kind of story back there on how these are made. I find the grinds are pretty clean. Again, nice straight blades. They're well crafted. Let's see, cutting board. Let's take a look at what this thing looks like. As you can see, it says it's a Gyuto 180 millimeter, but it's kind of got that shape reminiscent of a santoku a little bit, so you can see the tip is pretty low in relation to the knife center line. So what this does is flows into a pretty good stop at the back. It's smooth, it's a nice edge, but it goes boom, and the back half of that knife is pretty well flat. So if you like to chop, this will be right up your alley. That whole back half was really flat. You can kind of see that right there. The tip's pretty low, so you're not going to get too high on a rock. I'm starting to hit it even in there. So the way this is ground, it's not going to be a real rocker. You could rock over short stuff, but not medium or tall stuff. Tip draws will work real nice with this. You don't have to lift the handle too high. Glide cutting, push-pull cutting should work nice. Again, chopping towards the back half of the knife will be awesome. Real good for that. So that's the general. Not that every knife is exactly the same on the edge profile, but that should give you a general idea for this one. So just a really nice knife that should perform really great. Excellent steel. Stainless cladding for a little easier maintenance. Nice story behind it. So this is the Sakoda Aogami Super Gyuto 180mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.